Right, I'm here talking to Carlyn and Mallory, the director, star, and co-screenwriters of The Big Spoon. We caught up with you guys for a second in Austin, but we're really glad you brought it to Dallas. I'm so glad. You're a hometown girl.
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm born and raised in Dallas, and my parents still live here, and I have friends and family who were helped with our Kickstarter, and they were like, you know, people who don't work in the business, the timeline is a little strange to them. They're like, wait, so 2 years later? Yeah. And so it's really nice to be able to bring it here. And also, I've been to the festival many times, and I adore it. So it's great to be able to come here. And Carlyn's from Seguin, small town, Texas. Yes.
I'm from small town
Where are you
Texas
from?
myself. I'm from Burnett, outside of Austin.
Yeah. Seguin's,
Oh, you know,
Seguin's
we
the
were
other
football
way.
rivals, I think.
Oh.
Yes.
Seguin and Burnett?
Possibly. I'm not real sure.
I don't know.
Are you 4A or 5A?
5.
Oh, we probably haven't played each other then.
Yeah. Seguin's the
Big.
big town. Big town.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll talk about the movie.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody, you know, we had Camille and Ben here earlier, and, you know, I listened in on your press room interview, and it seems like everybody that you brought this script to, they all said the same thing. They're just like, oh, yes. Oh, yes. And as a woman watching it, you know, and possibly as a young woman in Austin watching it, I was like, just like that. What is it you think that makes this story, you know, people just glom onto it like that?
I think we curate ourselves when we're distanced from people to a degree. So my character and her best friend / roommate live really different types of lives, but my character tries to hold her temper and make it pretend like everything's hunky-dory, and she does the same with her boyfriend, because there's a certain amount of energy and time confrontation takes that we're fast-paced and busy lives say that we don't really have time for, and also the gap that loss would leave. It's like, okay, well then how am I going to have time to find somebody else, or who am I going to meet that's going to be as good as this? Right. And so, yeah, anyways, I think a lot of people who were even older, though, remember those friendships or relationships where they're thinking, I don't know if I'm ready to leave this person behind, but I could be meeting somebody a lot better right now for me. And it's a lose-lose if you're not being honest with the person you're with, even as a friend, when you're upset. Anyways, I'm rambling.
That's good. Come on, Carlyn. No, I thought it was interesting, you know, talking about the way things have changed for women. Like the way, you know, my mom and all her friends, it used to be like, well, you graduate from college and right after graduation you get married because you've been planning it. And, you know, now for me and my sisters, no, things didn't work out that way. I think that was part of the appeal of the story.
Yeah, well, I'm a few years older than Carlyn is, and I was watching people I knew in long-term relationships, 3 years, 4 years, and they weren't ready to commit to each other, but yet they were committed to each other for that long. I was thinking, if you don't know, like, that's a long time to have spent with somebody. And Carlyn ended a relationship after a year, like right after we finished the movie, that was something where she knew it wasn't right. And so ideally, people will see this and say, oh yeah, that I feel kind of like I'm watching what I'm not willing to do yet, which is have that, like, and I'm gonna break down if I don't come to terms with how I'm really feeling about something. But then again, like,
No one's with I think what's complicated about this movie and any relationship is no one's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you know the difference between something that is not perfect and something you shouldn't be in?
Absolutely, because I've been single most of the time, to be honest, which is, I love and I love people, and I go on dates all the time.
We've been screwed up by most movies, I think, too, because like you expect love to be something, and it's just not most of the time. I mean, I have a long-term boyfriend right now, and like, it's hard because sometimes I like want him to do like grand romantic gestures and all of these things, but he's like beautiful and touching and there for me in the day-to-day, just because he hasn't, like, I don't know, it's just like it's hard grappling with those things in modern relationships.
And a lot of people, I think, project what are actually things they aren't being honest with themselves about onto their relationships. And so, like, for instance, my character in the movie actually is kind of more envious of things that Ben, the boyfriend, and Elise, the roommate, have going on in their lives. And so she transfers what is her unwillingness to kind of take risks in her life onto her resentment of them and what they're doing. So there's a little bit of a, cautionary tale that hopefully comes through in that. And so she's not a great roommate necessarily to have, or a great girlfriend to necessarily have either. But she thinks she's being like the hero in both of those scenarios,
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks a lot, Gotti. Gotti's getting, surreptitious input over here.
Learning on how to be cool from Carlyn.
Well, it takes a long time to be this cool, Mallory.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so are you guys going to work together again? Because it seems like this was a pretty fun combination. Everybody seems to have enjoyed themselves, even though I have heard you both say it's been a long road. Script to screen is not a quick thing.
Nothing to do with working with her, though.
That's true.
It really just has to do with the perseverance that it takes to get a project that's low budget, when you're having to watch every dollar and you're literally saying, do we have the $50 to apply to this festival? Or, those sorts of things are tough. And Carlyn's, a working commercial director, and she, of course, wants to do other projects. But then there's the appeal of things like TV, where you kind of split the difference. You have more consistency, like commercial work, but with a little bit more of the creative juiciness of collaborating on a feature. And then for me, I've been venturing into the other side of the camera, not as a director or on crew, but in terms of like potential production company work, where I'm with somebody like a media company where you're establishing directors' trajectories. Like I'd love to be able to hire, for instance, someone like Carlyn for a project. And as an actor, I'll keep acting when things come my way, but it's hard I just turned 33, and actresses have a lot fewer options. And intellectually, doing my own project was so empowering that it's hard to go backwards and go back to that place where you're saying, okay, hey agent, will you send me out to try to get that diaper commercial where I hold somebody else's baby or whatever? Or yeah, right. And then writing, we'll both always write, because I think we just are naturally needing to, we're like both extrovert introverts, so we've got that desire to work with other people, but also want to hunker down and write our own stuff. I want to know more about you, Carrie.
Oh, that's a complicated tale. Watched your movie. There is a lot of aspects of Carrie in that movie. I connected with several of the characters in different ways.
Good.
Like I said, women have a different experience now than we did 20, 30 years ago.
Totally.
And some of it's great, right? Like some of it's really, really good. That's pretty much it. It's good, and it's a mixed bag, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how you hear people say, so many arranged marriages I know of, they're the happiest. And I'm like, yeah, but you still aren't going to convince me to get an arranged marriage. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like with freedom and options comes like mistakes and also a fear of decision making, or
it's like marriage and relationships now are based on love, whereas before they were based on political reasons or community or financial reasons, and it's just different,
All right, so you mentioned the word trajectory. Before we go, do you guys want to share anything about the hopeful trajectory of this film? Where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing Hill Country Film Festival in Fredericksburg in a few weeks. Yeah. And then we're out to a lot of other film festivals we haven't heard back from yet, but we'll play a few more, I think. And then we're working on distribution, which should be at least online, if not limited theatrical and online.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have fun.